cemetery and we're going to Vrindavan, Prabhu, who has been a devotee since 1982, and he took Diksha from Srila Gurudeva in 1996. So I'll probably need to find him. I can't see him at the moment. Are you there, Vrindavan?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're very happy and honored to have someone from Bali talking to us. And I'm going to hand over to you for your beautiful Pushpanjali. Good luck and welcome. Very warm welcome.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. So first of all, let me offer my pranams to Gurudev within your hearts. Each one of you who are listening, carry Gurudev within your heart and soul. So, Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Sri Sriman Bhakti Grantha Narayana Shri Krishna Lila Katharini Sudaksham Modaya Madhvaya Punashchi Yuktam Varam Brahmanyam Purusham Hantam Narayanam Tam Shri Krishna Namaste Gurudevaya Sarva Siddhi Pradayane Sarva Mangala Rupaya Sarvananda Dhayane. And I offer my pranams to all the sannyasika and all the respected Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, everyone who is on this amazing transcendental glorification of our beloved Guru, Parapadma. And first and foremost, I want to ask your blessings that I can speak something that will be of significance and benefit to you, and pleasing to Srila Gurudeva, most importantly, and purifying for my fallen soul. Bhaktya vihina parada lakshay kshiptascha kamadi tarangamadi kripamayi tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravind. And because you said beautiful Bali, yes, Bali is beautiful, and stepping out of Gurudev's shelter room here, I just wanted to show you how mercifully Gurudev has placed me here. Like Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, I offer my unlimited obeisances to my Gurudev, who has given me the shelter of his lotus feet, and he has given me the holy name. And all of these benedictions that we have been given, I am so overwhelmed. And all of this mercy and kindness and caring and compassion upon my foolish head, upon my proud and puffed up mind and my fallen soul, I feel is overwhelming. Gurudev blessed me to have Giriraj Govardhan, so he's come with me, the original rock star of all rock stars. Saraswati has always been with me somehow, oh my goddess, Saraswati, so I will also ask her blessings that I can speak something profound and wisdomatic. Om Saraswati Mahabhage Vitti Kamalalochane Vishwarupa Vishalakshi Nityandehi Namostute. And Giriraj Maharaj, Saptahameva Chutahasta Bhangaje Pringayamanam Palamula Kandarai Sangsevyamanam Harimatma Vrindakaya Gubhardhana Trimishyosham Namami. And since I was 3 years old, I've had Buddha Dev sitting in front of me like this, and my father gave me my Guru Mata Guru Pita. My father was a famous folk singer and went to Japan, and he received some type of mantra initiation into Om Mani Padme Hum. So I was given that mantra to chant since I was 3 years old, and I used to sit like that in lotus pose. So Buddha has been with me, and Saraswati for many, many lifetimes maybe. And then it is so amazing by Gurudev's grace in the Vrindavan of our hearts. Here is Buddha, and here is Saraswati. Somehow or other, Gurudev has mercifully placed me in a place with Buddha Dev sitting in meditation and Saraswati playing her veena. So last but not least, Jayatam Suradao Bhangur Mama Mandamatir Kadimatsar Swaparam Bhoja Sri Radha Madana Mohana. And continuing the tour of the premises, because I need a glass of water. I'm feeling so overwhelmed. Prabhuji said, and I must admit that's not the case. I met the devotee first in 1982, and I received my first plate of Mahaprasad, the big rock festival, Roskilde Festival outside of Copenhagen, Denmark in 1982. But Gurudev in 2003 made a statement which was very mystical and puzzling to me. And he said, in Birmingham airport, I was mentioning that the other day on the appearance day. Have me excuse. Gurudev in 2003 in Birmingham, just before he went to Spain, continuing his amazing world tour, said, I've been trying to help this devotee for the last 20 years. And I thought, Gurudev, I only met you 7 years ago in 96 in Prabhupada's centennial year, as Krishnakanda Prabhu wonderfully shared with us that he also first connected with Gurudev in Prabhupada's centennial year, as I did too. That was 10 years following my official Hainam initiation in Mayapur, West Bengal, and Sri Gaur Purnim on the 500th anniversary in front of 10,000 Hare Krishna devotees. I was given the name Jaini Singha Das Brahmachari. And cut a long story short, fast forward 10 years later, I am now back in London. And I first went to London in 82, interestingly enough, the same year I received my first plate of prasad. Back then I was a punk rock singer, so-called rock star, lead singer of a band called Illegal 80. And I had already kind of had a sense of renunciation and leaving the material existence, but I did not know where to find real shelter. So searching my tribe, I became an actor in 83. And in the acting course, we had to choose a different character to our own. And I chose to be a Hare Krishna devotee. I'd already met with the devotees there in 83, and I received a book, I think my first Bhagavad Gita, but did not get time to read it at the time. And I felt it was such a sacred book, and I was so immersed in sense gratification, name, fame, and glory, and this and that, that I actually placed it in a public cafe, thinking someone else who is more worthy than me will find this book and read it. But then again, I met with the devotees, and the devotees were then again kind of insisting. It was like wherever I would go, Krishna would come on my path in the form of devotee association, in the form of Mahaprasad, in the form of hearing the holy name, seeing Hainam Sankirtan, whichever way I could not really avoid. But acting as an actor in front of our acting class, I was doing a 1-year dance theater training program in Copenhagen. I chose to be a Hare Krishna devotee. So for like maybe up to 20 minutes or something, I was just sitting there in the role of a devotee answering questions. And although I took on that role, I thought, this is the real me. Everything else I've been doing up until this point was just acting. Actually, to be fair to Guru Tattva in its entirety, the mantra that my father gave me at 3 years of age acted so potently. Om Mani Padma Hum. Om, as we know, is A-U-M, the 3 syllables, or 3 letters. A, Akhileshwar Krishna, U, Ujeshwari Radhika, and M for Mahaprabhu. So Om is the universal sound containing both Radha, Krishna, and Mahaprabhu. So eventually I just chanted Om, and at 5 years of age, I was sitting underneath a tree in the forest, we were living in the countryside at that time, 1971, and I was sitting underneath a tree just in lotus pose, chanting Om, or maybe Om Mani Padma Hum. I was chanting, and then suddenly I levitated. I literally just shifted 35 meters above ground, and just as my hand is in front of me, I was seeing the branches of the tree, seeing this little boy sitting in meditation, 5 years old. and realizing that this is not me. And this relates to my acting as a devotee, that who is the real me then? I was kind of asking, who am I? Where am I going? Should I stay going onwards, or should I stay, or should I go? And I came back into the body, and I heard my inner voice, Paramatma, that is Gurudev, within the heart saying, now you just act. Just act as if you are this little boy, knowing that you are not this body. And it took me many years until I met the devotees and I received the science of self-realization around that time. As Gurudev said, 20 years I've been trying to help this devotee, from 2003 back to 83. And only when I received the science of self-realization by Bhakti Swami, our Prabhupada, that point I realized, okay, I am actually a devotee, or meant to be a devotee. I'm not meant to just play the role of a devotee. I've been acting all these other roles up until this point, but actually I'm meant to dedicate myself to the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and engage fully in Mahaprabhu's mercy mission. So in 96, I was invited. I was at that time doing Pujaya work in ISKCON, Soho Street, serving Sri Radha Krishna, Radha London, Ishvara, and was then invited by the same devotee who insisted that I become a brahmachari and I take shelter within ISKCON and all of that. His name was at the time Payonidhi. And he said, there is an elderly sannyasi from Mathura who's actually a good friend of Srila Prabhupada, and he's visiting London for the first time. Would you like to come and meet him? And I was immediately overjoyed and I was thinking, yes, definitely. Please bring me to see him. And then we went for the darshan, and in the darshan, Gurudev looked at me, speaking and looking out. Then he looked at me and said, what is your name? And I said, Jaina Singha Das. And he said, what is your name? And everyone else around me was repeating that name that I was given in Mayapur, in pomp and prestige and with roaring, loud Madanga Kaja, Haribol. But I knew within my heart that I had not taken birth to have Vaikuntha path. But actually, since I was a young boy, I was happy in the forest with the cows and climbing trees and swimming in the river or whatever. I was in that mood of Vrindavan, so already naturally and spontaneously as a child, by Gurudev's grace. So here in 96, Gurudev then planted within my heart this seed of curiosity. What is my real name? And I've always been a writer since I was 16. I published poems, and we made a book of poems and drawings and different things. And so I wrote in the style of haiku poetry, 3-line poetry. I wrote a poem and I sent it to Gurudev in 96, and he received it as a letter. Back then it was snail mail, no email. It was called When You Came. It was published in one of the first magazines that was made for Srila Gurudev in the early days, 96, 97. When You Came. When You Came was basically a poem about how I came into this world. When I came into this world, I was but an unwanted child. I didn't feel really wanted, to be honest, like a Vanasankara, a little bit out of place and not finding my tribe and not really fully settled or sheltered in even in material life, in spite of all this name, fame, and glory, all of this wealth, wine, and women, and all of these allurements actually made me just think it's like happiness in a fool's paradise. It's not real happiness. So when I wrote this haiku poetry, everything was not exactly haiku, because according to haiku, it's 15, 17, and 15 whatever vowels or syllables or whatever. But it was 3-line poetry. And in the last verse of the 3 lines, I just wrote, "You are eternal servant, still waiting for my real name." And then I left the 3rd line open for Gurudev to give me my real name. So officially, I received Hainam initiation in 86 from Srila Harikrishna Swami Vishnupad, but he kind of drifted away or left ISKCON around that time. So in the fall of 96, Gurudev said, "I will come to my room and I will give you initiation." But when I was in his room, he said, I'm not giving you re-initiation. I'm just refreshing what has already been given. So, but he said, and Naveen Krishna Brahmachari at that time, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, was suggesting to Gurudev different names like Panga Bihari or Shyam Bihari, different Bihari names, probably seeing that I was such a sense enjoyer. And I was not wanting any Bihari name, even though I came to later realize that Gurudev came from Bihar, and okay, maybe it was a special honor. But Gurudev, ignoring these suggestions of names from Naveen Krishna Brahmachari, now Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, said, your name is Vrindavan Das. And I was like overjoyed. And I said, and he gave me both Harinam and the Diksha mantras all in the same time in Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math in his room. And he said, your name is Vrindavan Das. Now you can go to Vrindavan and chant Hare Krishna and be happy forever. So I was feeling really blessed and fortunate. And then he said, but don't bring your problems. Later, the next year, my mother suddenly was interested in meeting Gurudev, and in Maharishi Mahesh Yogi Ashram in Holland, Holy Land, where also Krishna Kanta Prabhu and I met for the first time and talked. And because we were both involved in music, but he was much more, although I had been interviewed by MTV backstage with Shelter, interestingly enough, the year before in '96 in Soho, London. And MTV had asked me, what is the relationship between Shelter and Krishna consciousness? And I was standing there full Dodi Tilak backstage with the rock band Shelter. And I had to speak something profound, full Tilak, Dodi, Chara, everything. And I thought for a moment, and then it was before meeting Gurudev, I said, for those who have no shelter, the rock band Shelter may be some shelter, but for those who are in Krishna consciousness, Krishna's lotus feet is the only shelter. And those words were more for myself than for MTV filming or for the public. But because I needed real shelter, I had actually been offered a management contract in Liverpool. I was performing with my band called Ocean of Milk. OM, and I had been performing in Liverpool in '95, and I received a management contract 1 year for all name and fame and glory in the British music business. And I did not feel blessed to have that kind of name and fame without some Guru Padashraya. So I went to Srila Prabhupada and I said, Srila Prabhupada, at his murti, I fell at his feet in '96, and the same year, Srila Prabhupada arranged, because I asked Srila Prabhupada, please give me shelter of your real ISKCON, the real Transcendental International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the real Hare Krishna movement. And within a week from that prayer, Gurudev came into my life, and the same year I received Harinam and Diksha. But Gurudev said, I'm not giving you reinitiation, I'm just refreshing what has already been given. And then we went on Brajmandal Parikrama, and then we were in Mahavan, one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan, Bandirvan, I think it is, under this big banyan tree, and Gurudev suddenly stood up and he said,
Prabhu, Haribol, it's a beautiful Pushpanjali, but we have to bring it to a close now. I'd be grateful if you could close out.
Okay, I'll round it up. So Gurudev stood up in front of all the devotees, and then he said, this is the real ISKCON, ISKCON as it is. And that was the answer to my prayer to Srila Prabhupada. So Gurudev's kindness, caring, and compassion is overwhelmingly infinite and absolutely upon us all. But I want to conclude by saying that in this moment, on this special occasion, we always say Hari Guru Vaishnav Seva. So I beg the blessings of you all, the host. All glories to you, Ishuranandan Prabhu, for hosting this program, and other Ishudari and Savim Krishna and everyone. But I'm asking also your blessings, because I've felt that proudly I was feeling blessed by Hari and Guru and Vaishnavas, but actually not really learning how to recognize and respect and honor all of the devotees and all of the devotees on a different levels, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam. So I beg all of you to bless me to activate all of that mercy which Srila Gurudeva has given to me, because I feel that at this point I have only been given it but not really fully received it, if that makes sense. So I beg blessings of Sri Hari Guru and Vaishnava. I beg the mercy of Srila Gurudev to now fully live up to that name. I asked Gurudev's blessings in a letter to put Sri in front of my name so that it would be Radharani's Vrindavan, not this like Boma Vrindavan that appears differently to our mundane vision. And he accepted that. So please bless me to fully always reside within my heart and soul as Sri Vrindavan Das, respectfully honoring all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. Vanchakapatarupischa kripa sendupya ivacha varitam bhavanipyo Vaishnavipyo namo namaha Vaishnavipyo namo namaha Gaura Hari Om Tat Sat.
Dandavats Prabhu, thank you. You actually finished on a beautiful point about honoring Vaishnavas, and that reconciled beautifully with Krishna Kanta's point about we're not a religion, we're a relationship. And the essence of Gurudev's teaching was all about relationships, all about Sambandha. So it was a beautiful place to finish. Thank you, Prabhu.